Nepal Association of Tour and Travel Agents Natta was established in 1966 by visionary leaders of Nepalese travel trade. With their perseverant stewardship, even during tumultuous times, Natta has gained today's strength and galore. With more than 800 members nationwide, with regional chapters, Natta has been standing tall among nations' tourism landscape. We are celebrating its Golden Jubilee and 21st Convention to mark its 50th anniversary with festivity. We are here gathered for Golden Jubilee celebration and 21st Convention. We have Honorable Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Sai. I request him to take his seat on the dais. May I request the President of Natta, Mr. Madhusudan Acharya, to take his seat on the dais. State Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Mr. Indra Bania, to take his seat on the dais. Former Minister of Motka, Mr. Pradeep Gawani. The Secretary of Motka, Mr. Sankar Adhikari, to the dais. May I request the President of United Federation of Travel Agents, UFTA, Mr. Sunil Kumar R, to take his seat on the dais. I request the convener of this event, Mr. C.N. Pandey, to take his seat. Can I request for the welcome speech, the President of Natta, Mr. Madhusudan Acharya.
Natta decided to launch its mega event by holding its 21st convention and roundtable conclave. I personally, as well as on behalf of Natta, would like to extend our warm welcome to Chief Guest, Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, and special guest, State Minister for Tourism, Culture and Civil Aviation, and President of UFTA, Mr. Sunil Kumar, Vice President of UFTA, Director and President of various international tour and travel association and tourism councils. Tourism today has become a priority industry in many countries all over the world. Nepal is not exception, but what we lack in is the hesitance of government to practically recognize it an industry. It as an industry of priority despite various reports and recommendations put up by the commission formed by the government itself. When we look back to the earlier resolutions of Natta Convention, we find our predecessors has strongly raised the voice on the issue, but unfortunately the issues remain unaddressed by the policymakers at the helm of government. The same voice again has been raised by the travel fraternity, and we are confident, Honorable Minister, this will not go unheeded under your leadership. Arrival of tourists has jumped 12.77% in the first 6 months of this year. It has shown signs that the tourism industry is coming back to the normal after suffering a series of natural disasters last year. Nepal received 13,512 tourists in the first half of this year, against 277,992 in the same period of 2015. Yet, this is not something that we should be complaints, and with not less owing to the support of national flag carrier and other international carriers. The buzz is back to the industry and arrival ratio compared to the past year is encouraging. Given the situation of the country remains stable, tourism is sure to bring in brighter days with a lot of economic activities for the commonest of common peoples. In the country like Nepal, tourism alone can be instrumental in the poverty alleviation and overall socio-economic welfare. Having said that, I once again welcome you all in the Natta 21st Convention, and I am sure that in your deliberation and the convention discourse will go a long way in creating a very conducive atmosphere for the tourism industry for the country to flourishing further by establishing Nepal tourism industry of national priority. Thank you all.
May I request the chief guest of this session, Honorable Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, to inaugurate the session by lighting the tree. May I request the State Minister Natta to release.
It is indeed a pleasure to be a part of this wonderful occasion. I would like to congratulate you all for successful completion of the glorious 50 years of the Natta and this 21st convention of this very pertinent organization. These years you spent were actually very, very important, very, very useful, and very, very instrumental to develop the tourism industry in our country. You were not playing a role, merely a role of entrepreneurs, as well as you played a role of goodwill ambassador, a torchbearer of the tourism in Nepal. Needn't to say, tourism is backbone of the economic prosperity of our country. Yes, there are other aspects as well, like agriculture, like the comprehensive use of hydro resources and the rapid and intense growth of human capital. But I do like to emphasize the importance of the tourism in the economic growth of our country. After successfully promulgating the new constitution, we have almost completed the phase of political revolution. Now, new avenue has been opened where we should focus on the economic prosperity, economic development, and upliftment of the people. Until and unless people feel the tangible changes in their lives, political changes, big political changes will not be sustainable, they will not be useful. So our whole focus should be concentrated unconditionally now in the economic agenda, development agenda, prosperity agenda, and tourism should play the vital role, pivotal role for the economic, rapid economic growth in our country. Our not having a sufficient successful tapping the potential of the tourism industry. Now, after the promulgation of the new constitution, every political parties, they have committed that they will join hands to focus on economic development. We have formally declared that tourism should play the leading role on this regard, and tourism sector should be avoided from any type of strikes. I would like to congratulate you all for successful completion of these glorious 50 years, and I wish for a good future in the days coming. Thank you.
नेपाल को 50औं स्वर्ण जयन्ती मनाइरहेको टुरिज्म एन्ड ट्राभल व्यवसायी संघको यो कार्यक्रमको सफलताको कामना गर्दै पर्यटनलाई हामीले प्रकृतिसँग जोडेर अगाडि बढायौं भने नेपालको जुन अहिले भूगोल जुन अवस्था छ र प्रकृतिसँग पर्यटनलाई लिएर र हाम्रो संस्कृतिसँग हामीले पर्यटनलाई लिएर हिँड्यौँ भने, प्रकृति र पर्यटन र संस्कृतिलाई लियौँ भने नेपाल समृद्ध हुने पहिलो चाहिँ खुड्किला यही हो कि हाम्रो भौगोलिक विविधता र यो सबै कुरालाई हेर्दाखेरि नेपाल जस्तो सुन्दर प्रकृतिको देश दुनियाँमा कहीँ छैन। त्यसकारणले यसलाई पर्यटन व्यवसायीहरूले यो 50औं वर्ष मनाउँदै गर्दाखेरि कि अब यो सफलता सँगसँगै नेपालको सफलता जोडेला र अब राजनीतिक स्थिरता र नेपालको राजनीतिक सहमति, सहकार्य र एकता टुट्दै गएको छ त्यो पनि जुट्ला र यही पर्यटन व्यवसायको चाहिँ यो 50औं वार्षिक साधारण सभामा भन्न चाहन्छु कि अब एकता, सहकार्य र सहमतिको राजनीतिले मुलुकमा स्थिरता कायम भएमा व्यावसायिक सुनिश्चितता हुनेछ र पर्यटनसँग प्रकृतिलाई जोडेर लानुहुनेछ भन्ने विश्वास राख्दै यो कार्यक्रमको पूर्ण सफलताको कामना गर्दछु। धन्यवाद।
1977 to 1978, these veterans and he served as president from 2010 as IPP, immediate past president. To those who have contributed especially for the paper. And third is edition. This time, because over the, especially the name of the online is www. Now we have for her, especially for writing Asia. And he's my guru as well. He's from English department. In what way is 2 decades? And since he's a finance officer, probably without him,
First of all, I would like to congratulate for Golden Jubilee of Natta and its 21st convention. Actually, when I am seeing all these iconic people over there, my legs are trembling, my heart is pumping, you know. There should be something has been already changed. I don't know what should I say in this August gathering. Being as a minister of Nepal, should I tell everything truth or should I talk as a minister? I don't know. Even myself cannot decide it. Distinguished guests, I think this is kind of international convention. It's kind of like that. And President of UPTA is here. And now I'm having very heavy shoulder of this, all this, you know, we call in Nepali, Mayaku Chinna. The love token is really, really, really heavy thing, whether they are very big or very small. I don't know how I am going to handle it. Being as a government representative, I should think how to improve tourism sector of Nepal, how to improve the policies. I think when I see all these gentlemen over there, whole their life they try to improve the policy of Nepal. In policy, we don't have any problem. Nothing. Very nice. Very, very nice. I think if somebody award in our policy, Nepal will get the award. The problem is we are really, really terrible, I would say, terrible to enforce it or implement it. Just joking with him. Even you industrial people, you business people are not that, I won't say not that bad, but I believe you are not that good. And he says, yes, we have a saying in Nepal, where water comes, there fish goes, you know. So these are the things happening in our country. These are the things happening in our country. I want to change. My first slogan was that, I want to change. But sometimes I get frustrated. Yesterday, I came from Pokhara. I was flying from Pokhara. After I landed to Trivandrum International Airport, suddenly somebody called me. There is no light in your airport. I was shocked. No light in our airport? What happened? Immediately I called GM. Immediately I called the director, And they called, and somebody went and he told to our ex-minister, there is no backup. These are things it's happening. All the pioneer icon of Nepal and international, we want to change Nepal. Naturally, we don't have to say anything. I am the one who is saying, we Nepalese are begging in golden plate. We are begging in golden plate. Our management, our system, we politicians, we bureaucrats, we whatever, there are so many, because if I have to speak like this, it will take me hours and hours. Only my objective is to improve. To improve from today, we all have to realize in policy level, I'll try to improve, but improving policy doesn't make any difference. To implement, I need all your distinguished guests, gentlemen, ladies, whoever you are presented here, I need your support. So we have to change, and I believe in 21st convention, Natta people must be very professional, intellectual. They won't fight like our political parties, When the conference comes, we have a very, because now, why we feel shy to say this thing? We have to express and we have to improve it. For improvement, we are here. Because our tourism sector is deteriorating. This is my country, and I am living in the capital without a traffic light. You can see the traffic over here. How can I bring more tourism? How can I bring without air connectivity? How can I increase the number of tourists? So these are all interrelated. So every ministry and government should be aware about it to improve the tourism sector of Nepal. That is the only thing, that is the only one industry which can bring foreign currency and that can flourish our country and that can improve our economic system. To do this, hope Pasupatinath will bless us. Thank you so much. Namaste. Jai Nepal.
On behalf of Nepal Association of Tour and Travel Agents, Natta, may I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you for your active and great participants in the deliberate on the theme of our 21st convention, Nepal Tourism and Industry of National Priority. I, as the convener of the program, would like to thank our chief guest, Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Mr. Jubilee, and also our special guest, Honorable State Minister, Mr. Indrabahadur Bania, for being with us, and Tourism Secretary as well for molding to inauguration the session and for valuable speech for delivery. Natta thanks are due to paper presenter, Dr. Shankar Sharma, Mr. R.R. Pandey and commentator, Mr. Prachandaman Shrestha, Mr. Sunil Kumar R. and Mr. Suraj Vaidya for their most skilled presenter and commitments for the themes. Thanks Natta Award winner, including the media and the best facility this morning, the sponsor to deserve our thanks and best wishes. 21st Natta Convention session, all points raised in the discussion is coming on next have been taken seriously note of. I assure you, issue rise will be in our final resolution. Thanks.
Talking about the tourism in Nepal, I think we are so lucky. Nepal, whether we talk about 2015, 14, 13, Nepal is always in the limelight in the world press and tourism industry. As for example, even today, if we see what Nepal has been doing in terms of the overall international arena, Nepal is #1 tourist destination for 2016. That was done by Rough Guides UK. It has been listed in the National Geographic's best destination to visit in 2016 and best value destination for 2017. I think when I was in US, that was 2.5, 3 years ago, I was also reading the Wall Street Journal. the best value for money for safari travels in the world. I think I think we get the coverage about Nepal all over the places, whether that's Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, or anything like that, and many more. Some of the features, I think I just want to go very quickly. The Himalayan landscape, including the highest peak, Mount Everest, and 8 of the 10 tallest mountains of the world. National parks, protected areas cover about 24% of the total land in Nepal. I think this is also one of our the best treasure in the country. If we can develop, if we can promote the tourism, develop some kind of products in these areas, that can generate lots of revenue, that can attract lots of people from all over the world. And it's not only that, 24% of the total land, the parks are situated from about 100 meters, that's in Chitwan, above the sea level, to 2,800 meters, that's in Sagarmatha National Park. So we have all kinds of parks in Nepal, from almost the sea level to the highest in the world. The Indian and Tibetan civilizations, I think you can see in Nepal, and the very unique Nepali culture and architecture, including, let's say, the Darbar Square, temples, and other heritage sites.
He said, congratulations, you're selected. And Mr. Chairman, this opportunity comes to me, thanks to you, because I believe I will be able to dwell on certain aspects which are important for all of us. Travel and tourism industry is now considered, and it's published, as one of the world's largest industries with a global economic contribution, direct, indirect, and induced contribution of $7.6 trillion in 2014. Now, 1,000 million make a billion, 1,000 billion makes a trillion, and the industry value today is estimated at $7.6 trillion in 2014, and 15 figures will be out very soon. So you can imagine the size of our industry. The direct economic impact of the industry, including accommodation, including transportation, entertainment, and the tourism attractions, was approximately $2.36 trillion. So 1/3 of this has gone bank direct on tourism. And all of that Nepal has, India has, most of the world has. Worldwide, the tourism industry has experienced steady growth. Now look at the growth of our industry. Where was our industry? How is it moving forward? And how will it move forward? It's a very interesting study. It increased in 1995. It was insignificant. So I will start with the last 10 years. 2005, how many international arrivals were there in the world? 528 million. 2015, 10 years later, 538 million has become 1.14 billion. More than double in 10 years. And now the whole world is talking about projecting as to what will the world be by 2030. And UNWTO confirms their study that the total foreign arrivals by 2030 will reach 1.8 billion arrivals. Now this is a humongous opportunity for everybody involved in travel and tourism. So Asia Pacific is, apart from Europe, the second largest outbound as well, not just inbound. Not just inbound, it's the second largest outbound. So we are here to get recognition. We are here to identify better strategies to grab the world. The world averages today, I repeat, the world averages for this tourism industry to contribute to the GDP of a country, and this is where all of us have to influence our governments, especially in South Asia, and ask them to wake up. Tell them, if you don't wake up, you're going to be behind. Because the world average today of this industry contributing to the country's GDP is 10.3%. And how much is it in our part of the world? In Bangladesh, tourism only contributes to 3.7%. In India, it only contributes to 5.3% of the GDP, nothing. Pakistan, 6.3% of the GDP. Nepal, surely ahead of all these three countries, 8.2% of the GDP.
This session now, it is my privilege to request Mr. Prachandaman Shrestha, very good friend of mine. We work together in the Nepali government.
And all the honorable delegates, international and national, present here. Wow, tourism is too broad. And the first challenge is, how do we comprehend it in order to identify our specific actions to move ahead? We heard from Dr. Shankar Sharma what prospects Nepal as a tourism destination do have, and what are the actions and efforts at the public level going on, and perhaps in the future, some of the areas he indicated where we need to focus on in order to capitalize the prospects, opportunities provided in this sector globally, regionally, and especially in the national level. And Mr. Sunil has so wisely presented the broader picture of tourism global. So first point I would like to note here is, when we talk about tourism and to comprehend it specifically in order to identify the actions to move ahead, we need to remember the hierarchy of tourism at the global level, whether this tourism sector is prospective or the challenges, whether we are supposed to address or not, is the first area we have to verify, assess, evaluate in order to come down to the conclusion. In this context, he presented very well, look, the contribution to GDP, the employment generated by this sector, not only that, the volume and intensity of its growth in terms of arrival and economic linkage is so tremendous. By 2030, arrivals, international cross-border tourists alone is somewhere around nearly 2 billion, 1.8 billion. Then he indicated about the regional part, South Asia. In spite of tremendous possibility of existence of motivational resources, we are not doing well. There must be some reason, there is some lapses, some of the things we need to see into it. The reason is, and very clear, just with the mere existence of potential resources to be used to attract the tourist is not sufficient. Whether it be Himalayan range, natural resources, biodiversity, or cultural resources. The question is, most important part, how do we synchronize from the perspective of business model to the industries to design and bring out as a product which can be sold in the market. That's a challenge for the industry. Second element is more important. What are the activities, range of activities that has been developed in that particular site? And third is certainly the facilities, staying, reaching there, different range of facilities. Since last 30, 40 years and 50 years, at the point of Golden Jubilee we are celebrating by the travel operators, it has been demonstrated compared to other sectors, which may be different with other countries. If you focus on Nepal, tourism is the only sector which is not choice for you, it is the compulsion. It is the only sector which has demonstrated competitive advantage, sector of competitive advantage. Still, within these last 5 decades, why we are not satisfied to capitalize those competitive advantages is the reason of coordination with basically 3 stakeholders. One is the national state, which are supposed to be involved more on the policy framework, very synchronized policy framework. Second one is creating, investing in basic public goods as infrastructure, whether you talk about the ground transportation or air transportation accessibility. Then third area is who is responsible to manage that particular site from the perspective of tourism movement. And Nepal is facing in 2 areas. Industry has moved ahead, trying to pick up and developing certain products, whether it is adventure-based, nature-based, culture-based, within the last 50 years. but they are stagnated with the pullback. It is not equally supported from the infrastructure provisions of accessibility, whether you call airport, air transportations, or ground transportation. And in the meantime, third one is, who is supposed to manage their destination? And Shankar Sharma rightly mentioned that the earthquake is a good opportunity for Nepalese tourism while we rebuild and reconstruct. All these cultural heritage sites were built 100 years before, 200 years before from different perspectives. And it is now the opportunity for all of us to rebuild how we are going to use it for the tourism purposes, from the circulation, from the visiting capacity, or anything else. Even to cite it, the parking space, very simple matters. So this is the right opportunity for us from the management of the destination and backed up by the policy coordination. And third is infrastructure. If three things can be focused on as a way forward, perhaps Nepal will have tremendous prospects of capitalizing this sector in the context of prospects provided by Sunil from the global perspective, contribution to GDP, and his share on employment generations. I would like to thank Natta for giving me this opportunity, and in the meantime, in this occasion, I would like to convey my congratulations and best wishes in the completion of 50 golden years, and in the meantime, for the next 50 years, they might be in the position of lead factors to pull by themselves the public agencies as government for policy and infrastructure, and the communities where the tourism activities are going on for the management participation in order to establish a very win-win situation of benefit sharing mechanism. Thank you, all the best.
President of Natta, congratulations. I think it's extremely touching that we've come to the stage of 50 years, and there's so much to look back and to say, well done. I want to congratulate the captains. I see here very senior leaders who believed in Nepal, who've lived in Nepal, and who've introduced Nepal to the rest of the world. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you, Natta. I don't know why I'm asked to speak, because I am not in cheap tourists coming, polluting the country, spoiling your culture. It's not worth it. We don't want to have tourism in Bhutan. That's exactly what he said. I did read what was presented by Dr. Shankar Sharma. I did hear Sunilji. I think they're people of tremendous esteem. They understand tourism much more than quite a lot of us. So I'd like to just compliment them on a few things as to why it's not happening. Sunilji's question is why South Asia, with a population of 1.6 billion people, still cannot get tourism moving forward. What you do here today, sir, your 50 years of Golden Jubilee, of what you've done for Nepal to introduce Nepal to the rest of the world, probably will come in a small headline tomorrow. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. We need to believe that we're better, and we're doing much better than the rest of the world. Europe hasn't, if you look at Europe, yes, Europe has all the people going into Europe. What is it? It's marketing. The second problem that we have in South Asia, why we can't do this, is because we are individually very good, but collectively we're very weak. But all I would say is, congratulations. I look around here, I see leaders from governments, from the private sector. We salute you, we admire you, and I look at the young generation, the 50 years beyond, looks fantastic. Thank you.
I'd like to touch upon a few points that they raised, specifically in relation to the theme of our convention, that is Nepal tourism industry of national priority. I think that's the key word, national priority. So we heard from Dr. Sharma a very interesting thing. We know it, but I just want to bring it to focus. That there's a plan with our government that by 2020, we'll have 2 million tourists. Wonderful. Let's wake up. It's not late. How many of our children are taking over our business? Mine is not, sir. You know why? The reason is simple. They don't want to be the fish that we have been until now. So stop being fish, wake up, let's do together something for our country. Thank you.
Because in this gathering there are national presidents of national associations and also some airline executives, I think it's time all of us try and come out with a fair called visa, visit inside South Asia. And there should be one common fare, which is a practice in Middle East and also in East African areas. We should have one common fare where all the national carriers involved, something like Air India, Bangladesh, Air Natta, Pakistan International and Royal Nepal, along with Ruke, have one common fare which can be sold in all other countries, where coupons can be issued on different airlines on one ticket, on one fare. This will promote, this will highlight the dream of I'm going to South Asia, kind of a situation, instead of saying I'm going to Bangladesh or I'm going to India, I'm going to Nepal. I think the leaders should take this forward and maybe with IATA, and we should come out with a fair guidance. It's a comment, it's not a question. Thank you.
Only one thing, I don't know how it can be related. In Nepal, since a couple of years, our numbers are not increased. Rather, it is decreased because of some disturbances. But in another side, establishment of new tour new agencies, new hoteliers, we are putting so much of money, we are investing so much of money into it. In Western perspective, I believe the investment that we are making, maybe if it is not going to generate the yield that we are expecting, so how we can correlate in this perspective? Maybe the waste of investment is decrease in national productivity. So in this line, how we can create a balance? Or maybe we are investing so much of money in those sectors, but we are not lobbying for the infrastructure that need to be supported for that. Maybe for infrastructure or airport or policies. And tourism is the sector when other things are better, it is the best. When other things are not good, it cannot be developed as expected. So in this line, I think if some of the panelists come in, would be more interesting. Thank you.
I think all business is based on strategy, and I must appreciate the brief but very powerful point made by the SARC CII head. It's common in life that we need to identify the balance between our own strengths. Now, I do agree that a lot of investment goes into hotels, a lot of investment goes into infrastructure. And the question every government is asking is, do I get back my profits on my investments, including establishment of airports? Now, look at a model that exists beyond us. Airlines and tourism have a very strong balance. Take Turkish Airlines, for example. Perhaps one airline in the world that has the largest connectivity to destinations. No other airline can match the number of international connections Turkish Airlines has. But what has it done to Turkish tourism? People got used to traveling by Turkish Airlines. Their destination is US. And they decided, because it stops for 2 days in Istanbul, there is a need for them to use Istanbul as a base and some tourism happens. Bangkok. Thai Airways connects Bangkok with most parts of the world. And when the fare from point A to point B is the same, and you don't mind going via Bangkok, because you get an opportunity to spend a couple of days in Thailand, then you would become Bangkok. How did Emirates multiply? Dubai was never as much a tourism base that it is today as it was a couple of decades ago. But then Emirates became a huge opportunity for tourism because they started offering a 2-night layover. You're traveling by Emirates, so why can't you spend a couple of nights? We'll give you free rooms. That's how it started. Malaysian Airlines was the same. Singapore Airlines was the same. Most of the airlines of the world are same. But look at us. Royal Nepal. Is it connecting people? Or is it only working from origin to destination, destination to origin? Air India, is it connecting people from the west to east? Or is it working from origin to destination or destination to origin? Pakistan Airlines, Sri Lankan is at least to some extent better because people don't mind going from India to Asia via Sri Lanka, thinking that okay, we need to. But we have actually not adapted to a global strategy which should address a part of your question. That when you have your airline working in sync with the tourism board very effectively and promoted by associations, promoted by the tourism industry, then the opportunity multiplies. And these are the best practices we've learned from different countries of the world. But I think we are still ancient here. But yes, that question must be answered. How does one realize the investment? And I think this is a small way in which one can initiate to get tourism forward.
I think this is a superb question and a very important one. And the reason I just wanted to sort of get involved really is the experience of the carpet industry. The square meter that they were exporting 10 years ago has come down by about 60% in volume. However, the profits have gone up by about 300%. You see, so the point here, I think this has been raised about looking at the true million. It's not the true million, really. It's raising the profitability I think that's critically important for the private sector to look at. And it does not really matter if your business has gone down in terms of the numbers, but if your profit stays high, which means you are, as business people, eventually looking at the balance sheet. One of the problems that I see in our part of the world is we're competing with ourselves so much that we undercut each other. And you're right, I think one of the major questions, because I thought of putting up a hotel in Kathmandu, and when I made a study recently with about 2,700 beds coming in the next 5 to 7 years, this will be a crasher market. And I think the captains who've invested in that needs to sit seriously with the government and to say that we need to find a way of keeping the market up rather than bring it down. Because I remember at time, there was a time when Hype was selling at about $30 a night, which, all of us know was really a price that wasn't acceptable. So I think there needs to be a very, very serious homework, and I agree with you. I agree with you so much that these people who've taken the risk of investing in Nepal, if they feel let down because of the way we do business, and this is where I think an institution like Natta comes in, is to be able to bring these captains who've invested in this industry together to say, how can we give more and yet raise our profits? And I think that's something that we need to be very candid about. I think the governments and the private sector needs to talk profit rather than numbers.
I just wanted to say three things. One is definitely I think we have a great deficit of infrastructure, no doubt about that. But if we are trying to talk about, let's say, business in Nepal, trade competitiveness, tourism competitiveness, probably if we can focus on one or two things, prioritize and push for that, probably I think the probability of that being done on time will definitely go up. As for example, we are talking about second international airport and fast track. A lot of people are promoting these days about these two things, which can probably change the economic scenario of Nepal. The second thing is I agree with, partially agree with Mr. Suraj Bhatia in the sense that we should be able to package different products or promote networking. Because if you go to China, even today, a lot of people who would like to go outside China, they don't know about Nepal. I think that's true. But from the government perspective, it's not only increasing the profit with declining employment opportunity, I guess. If we cannot diversify the economy, that can also have some adverse impact. I think only few small group of people can become rich and richer, but the mass probably will remain unemployed. So I think we probably need to have that balance and then diversify the economy.
We looked upon the vast opportunity that prevails for the countries in South Asia and individual countries that we are represented today. It's very good, it's good to know or learn to all of us that Bangkok has come out to be the second city, pushing Paris back to the third place, from first to third place. So at least the Asian cities also can do better. The incredible India is slowly closing, but there is still half of amazing Thailand. Nepal, I mean, we are a small country, so having vast resources, we are also keeping some of our momentum ourselves. This morning I was listening to one of the local FM stations, and the immigration department has brought out statistics this morning only for the month of November. We saw 33% increase for the month of November. So it's a good sign for the Nepalese tourism as well.
Nepal Association of Tour and Travel in Natta, may I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you, your active and great participation on this board session. I, as a convener of the program, would like to thank you all.
In our the history of modern tourism development, let's say in 50-60 years, earlier it used to be a very one set of tourism. Like I think since 1960-65 to 1995, the tourism used to be a kind of a very much format-oriented or formula-oriented, fixed itineraries, very traditional packages. But now the days are changed. There are, as the segment-wise also, the millennial segment is growing, youth segment who are more digitally connected.
What needs to be highlighted this afternoon, because Natta has taken this initiative to bring a lot of countries together, and the audience plus the media, more importantly the media, must be aware that in Kathmandu today, at the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Natta, there are representatives of over 12 countries seated here. So I think it's a fantastic gathering of leaders from different verticals. You have government, you have associations, you have airlines, you have tourism boards, and you have entrepreneurs, stakeholders. So you have two important categories of people seated here. And I would urge you, Mr. Moderator, if you can help this round table come up with certain best practices from which all of us can learn. I think we should use our cross-cultural strengths to share with the others. And if that could be a lead factor for us, I think there's a lot we can achieve out of this.
May I invite to begin with, if I may, Mr. Abdullah from Turkey here, you may like to just...
The story began in Turkey around 2006-07, since you said the experiences. And till that date, our population was 65 million, and there was just 65 airlines of Turkish Airlines, plus some private airlines, and it was around 130, 40, that amount. Then the government made a decision, and they made big incentives for the airline companies, airline fuel, tourism sector, hotels, for all of them. They decided to make big incentives, and with that big support, suddenly the grow-up period began. And how it happened, in 8 years' time, which we reached is from 65 aircrafts, 335. Thank you.
In Malaysia, we started tourism as the third or fourth economic contribution for the country. But today it became number 2. But what it does is that tourism helps to sustain the economy when the rest of other economy are not performing.
So I am Managing Director of Nepal Airlines. So I am not a tourism guide, but still from layman's point of view also what I see, I agree with friends from Turkey and Malaysia in the sense that in Nepal, I don't think we can compete with countries like China, India, Malaysia in the manufacturing industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give a brief idea about some tourist spots of Bangladesh, a lower middle income country in Asia. Holding high potentiality for tourism, in the southeast, the country has a 120 kilometer long beach, Kasal Bajar. We have Rangamati, we have Bandarban, we have Kaptai, we have Sylhet. It's a famous tea garden. We have a lot of tourism environment in Bangladesh. Actually, I focus my Bangladesh here. All of the participating country here. Nowadays, Bangladesh is very politically very smooth. Tourists can come easily. Everything is very smooth here. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to take the opportunity to invite you all to my beloved country, Bangladesh, to visit tourist spot and requested to inspire the tourists of your country to visit Bangladesh.
Travelers all over the world today are not traveling to save money. They are traveling to experience something. Our problem in the industry, we like to discuss discounts, prices, while all customers are trying to hunt this treasure moment of happiness where they will feel that they are closing to God or whatever. By the way, once you are talking about experience, money is not an issue. The leading component in the global economy is the middle class. The future is belong to this region of the world. This is a fact. If 50 years ago, only 5 cities in Europe and States was holding close to 95% of the tourism industry, today is 100. And the numbers who are traveling to Bangkok, for example, is equal to those who are traveling to London. With all due respect, the central point is moving to this side of the world. And Mr. Sunil Kumar mentioned it during lunch. I mean, and UFTA is the opportunity as well. Regional is the name of the game if you are developing industry. So partnership through bodies like UFTA and others is a major tool to move forward. And one more thing that we don't like to discuss, and it's becoming a major factor in our industry all over the world, is security. How do we mention? I mean, there is an elephant in the room that nobody is talking about. But this is a layer in our industry that we need to define and to see how we can manage, because you need to say something about security when you are calling somebody to come and visit you.
We are in the northeast of India, and Nepal is a separate country, but it touches with us. And we are connected with the Bangladesh, northeast, including the Nepal. And there it is a Buddhist circuit and a lot of products in everywhere, the northeast and even Bangladesh, even in Nepal. So there it also raises questions, and that is discussing in the SARC to make a circuit between the Bangladesh, northeast and Nepal. I request to MD Nepal Airlines, he can extend his line from Nepal to Guwahati, at least. This is a very short distance. And if they touch the Guwahati, so it will be a connectivity will be connect with the northeast. And we are already connected with the Guwahati. And total northeast is connected with the Guwahati. So Guwahati and Nepal, if it is any connection flights, so I think the tourism will be increased definitely from the northeast.
I think most of the people here are in tourism, so they might be knowing a little bit about the town. Unlike the countries which are represented here or anywhere in the world, we have a different tourism policy. Ours is it has to be all-inclusive package. 2 is that there is a fixed minimum tariff. So minimum is anywhere from $200 during the lean season and $250 during the peak season, all the way up to $1,500 per night. So the third one, which is a unique feature, is that you have to come through a local Bhutanese tour operator. You can't just show up in the airport and say, I'm a tourist in Bhutan. It has to be done everything in advance. So these are the unique features that we have. And this is, I think, intentionally done for Bhutan because we are a very small country, one. And there's only about 700,000 people in Bhutan, not even 1 million. The other one is also, we are also not a developed and rich country. We're still a least developed country. And we have very limited infrastructures. So we can't afford to have huge number of tourists because infrastructure cannot hold up, cannot accommodate. So there will be a huge pressure. So we are balancing the both development as well as intake of tourist numbers. In terms of marketing, we do not do a huge marketing and promotion as Bhutan. There's a small, few selected international travel fairs that the Bhutan attends with some of the tour operators. But for Bhutan, I think word of mouth has been the biggest marketing activity for us. There's a huge it can do, but it has to be managed properly.
First of all, I would like to mention to my MP's brothers here that Government of India has finally agreed that the e-visa would be a dual entry visa, and I'm expecting the notification to come next week. It has already been approved by the cabinet, which means that there were some problems in selling India and Nepal together or India and Bhutan together. So that will be over soon, and once that happens, we have already had a meeting with Air India also to start the Varanasi-Kathmandu flight again. Let's see what happens. But first of all is the dual entry e-visa, which will be for 60 days now instead of 30 days. So that will help boost tourism in Nepal. But somehow it has not been cleared by SAARC headquarters here, and it has not been cleared by it was supposed to be cleared by the foreign secretaries. That has also not been done. But because if that is done, then we had some good plans of doing promotion together, at least for SAARC countries. Whether it is Nepal or India, I will not call it a leisure destination, it is more of an adventure destination. Because everything is adventure in India or Nepal or all these countries here. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rajesh.
First of all, let me inform you that I'm from the Tourism Council of Thailand. We are the private sector, but we work closely with TAT and Ministry of Tourism. We report directly to the Prime Minister. We are having 90 members, which are the association. There are so many associations in Thailand, such as inbound, outbound, tour operator, guide, restaurant, hotel, ticketing agent. All of these are like health and spa. There are so many sectors. Actually, it doesn't mean we don't have any problem regarding the tourism. The tourism into Thailand, we are getting the support from the government, and we also try to really join hands with all the sectors, because nowadays you cannot work alone. It's not only for Thailand, travel agent, tour operator, or the hotel members, but also we need to exchange the tourists also with our friends abroad. We are now having tourists into the country, the most 10 nationality from 10 countries, which is traveling to Thailand. That is the most number. Maybe the first step, I just try to only this month. Thank you.
Maybe one topic that has not been really touched on or dealt much
is the people in the industry. Now you have a seminar, a convention, and I don't see the numbers coming in. You have 2,000 members, right? But I don't see that number attending. Perhaps looking at the numbers of 2,000 plus the few 100,000 that's coming in, you probably will be looking at a lot of small operators. Maybe they cannot afford the time. In Singapore, we don't have the privilege of having natural resources and not a lot of other things. We only have human resources. And as one of the things we do is we develop human resources very well. So we do training for people. So one of the things you may want to look at is really, are you helping the small operators to upgrade themselves through professional training, recognition, so that they feel proud of their job. And instead of just undercutting on price and discount, they offer professional services. And in that basis, perhaps chances are that the son may want to take over because they feel proud of the business. Maybe this is one thing you may want to consider. Thank you.
第二呢，是在做旅游业的前端呢，把旅游产业化，就是旅游的规划的前面，把旅游的产业规划做在前面。
Earlier, the gentleman was mentioning China purposely crafted up a few national holidays to what called spur the development of tourism.
Thank you. 因为旅游业呢是一个富民的工程，就是针对老百姓的收入呢是一个富民的工程，所以他要把整个产业链把它先设计出来以后，再来做旅游业的发展。
China went on the planning strategy first because they are well aware that tourism will bring benefits to the local people, the local population, and that's why they strategize it at a national level. So.
从云霄的角度来说呢，它是把旅游品牌和产品云霄把它剥离来做。
They separate the packages and also the branding so that we can manage it in a better manner.
然后采取资源保护和资源开发同步进行来做旅游。
At the same time, they develop the people and the infrastructure so that they can complement each other.
然后在全球做大的云霄概念和大品牌的概念，推动中国旅游的发展。
And they go on international stage to market China so that people will know more about China and the tourism attractions there.
暂时先说这些吧，谢谢。
That's all I have. Thank you.
Sorry.
Malaysia is very keen in promoting itself, its tourism industry, and unfortunately we are beaten by Thailand starting last year, a few years back, I think. So congratulations, Thailand. We are now number 2 beside Thailand, receiving about almost 25 million tourists, generating a revenue of about 70 billion ringgit. Our biggest customer is our colleague from Singapore. Thank you, sir, for contributing to the tourist arrival in Malaysia. Our very serious in promoting tourism, we have established a Ministry of Tourism and Culture, which oversees all the policies and promotion. Under the ministry have established the Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board. We have 44 offices around the world, and in South Asia we have 4. South Asia is one of the key market for our tourism industry, which generated about almost 5 billion ringgit every year, almost slightly more than $1 billion US.
I would like to take it from my morning comments. The last words I said was, let's wake up. And I would like to add there, let's wake up and move ahead, okay? what our policies are, what the government's plan is. We are aiming at having 2 million tourists in 2020. They're all good, very excellent. Now, how do we get that? So in order to get 2 million tourists, you must have a product, a simple thing, all of us know it, plus I want to bring you into focus. We must have good products, we must have proper pricing, we must have proper promotion and marketing, and we must have connectivity, and we have competition for all this. We have competition for Nepal. The point I'm trying to make is, having all the things may be important, but the most important thing is connectivity. Unless and until you can have the capacity to bring in 2 million tourists in 2020, by year, by road, whatever it is, forget it. No amount of promotion and marketing expenditure, we can improve our connectivity. Let's unite. The government is very keen to have Nisgad Airport. We are already working on Bhairava Airport and Pokhara Airport. So let's unite to have one focus out of this convention. That's my suggestions to you. So let's concentrate on connectivity. Let's do everything that we can as a private sector. Let's have our private-public partnership with the government. How do we make this Nisgad and the fast-track road a reality? Unless and until we can do that, we can talk and we can have many, many conventions. I hope another 50 years doesn't have to go before that happens.
My name is Suman Pandey. I am the chairman of PATA Nepal chapter. I would like to touch upon only one subject in which the friend from Singapore has touched a little bit. We talk about the growth of tourism, and it is expected that by 2031, world will receive 2 billion tourists. And on the other side, we have not talked about how we are going to manage it. There is going to be a huge shortage of human capital, and the forecast says that by 2025, there will be 3 million heads short into tourism industry, and that is going to make the industry lose $6 billion worth of revenue. Arguments are going on between academicians and the employees of the industry. Academicians are saying there are so many colleges, universities, academies that we have raised. Employers are not giving priorities. Employers say they are producing graduates who are educated, but they are not skilled. So this is the main challenge. And at the moment, I think industry is into the state of transformation. The power of tour operators is slowly moving towards properties by digital or online revolution. Big operators in Europe and America fear that they are going to be eliminated very soon if they do not transform themselves towards digital marketing very soon. And that is the challenge, and we need very efficient manpower to work globally at this stage. So PATA International has campaigns to encourage and build young generation to come up and take role for tomorrow as the industry leaders. And they have separate student chapters movement. There is a youth forum going through several courses as a strong movement. Accordingly, PATA Nepal chapter is also working very closely with the tourism colleges in Nepal. We have 5 student chapters, and we are involving all student chapters into various programs organized by PATA Nepal chapter with equal priority, emphasis, and honors given to each individual students.
We have been, the numbers that we are talking about, the tourist number that come into Nepal is very small, and we are trying ferociously to increase that number. But I am afraid that we are not have any plan to manage those numbers. We are promoting big numbers, but how to manage them, we are not thinking of that. The problems that we'll have on our social behavior or on our environment, on our culture, that we are not prepared to do anything about it. And that's going to be a big headache later on. When the numbers increase, you have adverse behaviors increasing also. And when we're talking about increasing tourism, we must be very careful, and planning for increase of numbers must go together with planning how to manage them.
If you talk about Nepal's tourism development in a regional perspective, I can give you a small instances of facts and figures. If you see in South Asian region, Nepal share 5.7% of tourist arrival in South Asian regions. Whereas if you look at the revenue coming from the tourists, we just share 1.4% of total revenue generated by South Asian region. By this fact, what we can conclude is that we are receiving tourists who are not spending to our expectation. In Nepal, the main constant is supply side constant, that is the infrastructures. When you talk about infrastructures, we definitely talk about the air connectivity, and the inland transportations is also not up to the standards. So government of Nepal is launching 3 major projects with regard to the improvement of this air connectivity. But what is happening these days, the governance issues and the issues regarding the project management, contract management is coming into fore because of the weak governance, and the environment for the decision maker is not that much conducive. So we are struggling to implement these projects. Nepal is it has accorded high priority to tourism industry. If you look at the constitution of Nepal, if you look at the periodic development plan, we have formulated tourism strategic paper, NTSP is there in place.
We have bounty of opportunities in each of our countries. Some have managed very well, some have not. Some have to learn from others, and likewise. And again, I go back to the statement that the minister made in the morning, that we have the golden plate, meaning we have all the opportunities, but we are begging with our golden plate. So look at that. So the beggars with the golden plate. So if we could use our resources to the maximum of ours, and again, if we could come out with judicious dissemination of tourism benefits to the community, then the tourism becomes sustainable. So as we discussed today, I think we have something to learn from each other's experiences, and the issues that has come up in this meeting are all recorded. On the whole, the whole exercise today we were involved with has borne fruit. So thank you very much.
Put on tools and tracks. Get information live. Today, we are celebrating Nepal Association of Tour and Travel Agents Natta's Golden Jubilee, 50th anniversary. Natta was established in 1966, and it has come all through perilous hours, navigating across tumultuous oceans to the present time, with its present strength, vigor, and grandeur. Natta now accommodates more than 800 members nationwide, with multiple chapters spread all over the country. Natta is glorious association of tour and travel agents today. We are celebrating this Golden Jubilee along with 21st Convention that we held this afternoon. And we also organized roundtable conclave just to share experiences among the international and national dignitaries about tourism.
For being here on this inaugural session of our Golden Jubilee celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, at very outset, may I on behalf of Nepal Association of Tour and Travel Agents Natta extend our warm welcome, hearty felicitations and happy greeting this historic occasion of Natta auspicious Golden Jubilee and 21st Convention. The celebration centers on the theme Nepal Tourism Industry of National Priority, which has till date remained confined only in the government files and speeches of the government's minister, despite recommendation submitted by the commission headed by then Chief Secretary of Nepal. Honorable Ministers, our hope have not faded. We, the tourism entrepreneurs, are still looking forward to the implementation of the given recommendation, which envisages the recognition of Nepalese tourism as an industry of national priority during your premiership. The genesis of Natta as the Association of Nepalese Tour Operators and Travel Agents dated back a half-century ago in 1966. During those days, there was no concerned ministry or any departments to monitor the abundant and flourishing foreign exchange earning industry. Even the architect of nation's 5-year plan had not realized how immensely this growing industry could contribute to the national economy by turning the major chunk of population economically active. It was only during the early 70s that Nepalese tourism witnessed the formation of Tourism Ministry and Department to regulate the industry. We believe the time has changed into the golden compared to the olden days. Things are rapidly changing. With the political transformation of the country and the lifestyle of the peoples, we have also improved a lot with many opportunities cropping up in the various sectors like travel and tours, aviation and other enterprises directly or indirectly linked with tourism. Tourism alone offers more than 500,000 direct jobs in the country at the moment. If the industry is widely encouraged, promoted and supported by the government, thousands of over new jobs are likely to be created in the near future. The construction of the alternative international airports, Nijgat, upgrading of existing airport, Bhairava and Pokhara as a regional airports, and the recent decision of the government to add new 2 wide-bodied aircraft for Nepal Airlines are few of the praiseworthy steps taken by the government. But things move at the snail pace in Nepal. Almost all donor agencies and well-wishers of Nepal have reiterated that fast-made decisions in Nepal are either forgotten or lost in the oblivion of seldom implemented. Honorable Minister, tourism in Nepal has already suffered a lot due to many reasons well known. The devastating earthquake last year, followed by border blockades and frequent changes in government and a routine banda and strike that have felt the industry almost exhausted. According to the UNWTO report, the number of tourists in the world increased to the figure 1.2 billion in 2015 from 1 billion in 2012. Nepal has not received any significant benefit from such growth. though this growth was indicated in South Asia Pacific region. So we have far behind on that. Having said this, I now would like to quote an UMWTO report 2016. I quote, tourism is an surprisingly resilient economic sector which increasingly contributes to development in the many countries around the globe. For national government, it is a reminder that tourism can be a part of solution for foster social economic development and job creation. Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, infrastructure is the lifeline of tourism. The more of it we have, the more of the tourists will make Nepal their coveted destination for holiday. Improvement of air accessibility and road connectivity can enable us to include in our package each one of our exotic rural and remote sites for visits. Proper networking of the road is a must to boom our domestic tourism as well, in the absence of which our dream in tourism are likely to suffer a serious setback. Far western region as well as eastern region of the country are teamed with unimaginably most attractive and fascinating products, but unfortunately the lack of basic infrastructure, only a few are frequented, depriving the locals of benefits. We would like to therefore draw attention of the government of Nepal towards their bitter reality and strongly urge the policy makers to start working sincerely on this. On this morning session, we had several issues and deliberation, and the main focal point was Nepal's infrastructure that government should focus towards focusing the tourism industry. We all know we have many attractions and many world-identified destinations and products, but not having enough infrastructure to cater all the demands, and we are lacking far behind. अब पूर्वाधारको विकास बिना पर्यटन विकास हुन सक्दैन भन्ने कुरा हामी सबै पर्यटन व्यवसायीहरूले बुझ्नु जरुरी छ र सरकारले पनि पूर्वाधारको लगानीमा एकदमै अग्रसरताका साथ लगानी गर्नु पर्यो र नेपालका जति पनि अब आउने योजनाहरू बन्छन् भौतिक पूर्वाधारका त्यो पर्यटन मैत्री र पर्यटनलाई लक्ष्य गरेर बनाइनु आवश्यक छ भन्ने कुरा म यहाँ सबै यो सभामा उपस्थित सबैमा अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. We are celebrating 50th years, and if I ask our chief guest to spare 1 minute per year, so I think I'll be getting 50 minutes, and that is enough for Tuesday's evening. I would very humbly like to extend our warm welcome to our chief guest, special guests, and other former ministers, those who are here, and secretary from the different ministries, President Gupta, Vice President Gupta, Chai, and other association head from our regional association, Director of Tourism Malaysia, CEO, Nepal Tourism Board, Managing Director of Nepal Airlines, and former President of Natta, and Natta member, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and all guests and media friends. I would like to welcome you again, and I think we hope you all will be enjoying this beautiful evening. We tried our level best to make more entertaining now onwards. And we have series of events that we have, Natta is going to announce few most awaited awards, so that will be announced later on. So having said this, I will take leave. Thank you very much and welcome everyone.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers. This award is given to Eric Valley. Of you is towards this organization to a better height.
What a great day it is for Nepal. not just Nepal, for Nepal tourism, and not just Nepal tourism, the entire industry leadership of Nepal, including Natta. And I, Mr. President Madhusudan, have great pleasure to bring you the warmest of felicitations on behalf of the whole world of UFTA and congratulate you and your association for having completed 50 years of successful service in promoting travel and tourism. I have some great news to share, and I would invite Mr. Madhusudan to please come and stand before all of us. Madhuji, aiye. UFTA is an organization that started a little after Natta, but it started in the same year. It started in November 1966, and Natta had started a few months earlier in 1966. UFTA had recently celebrated our Golden Jubilee Congress at Istanbul, and when the General Assembly of UFTA was informed about the successful work Natta has done and its celebration of Golden Jubilee year, all of us have unanimously decided, and Honorable Minister, I am very delighted to share before you that Mr. Madhusudan Acharya, representing the land of Nepal, representing the travel and tourism industry of Nepal, representing Natta, will now be the member of UFTA Board of Directors for the year 2016-2018. And as the President of UFTA, who's responsible to assign all the directors a portfolio with the permission of my colleagues on the board, I have assigned the responsibility of membership development to Mr. Madhusudan Acharya. A round of applause. Congratulations, Mr. Madhusudan Acharya. It's a fantastic world today. A world that believes in the strongest of networking. A world that is to be connected by some industry which is beyond boundaries, beyond political situations, beyond extreme situations. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, what is that one industry of this world that can get the world together? What is that one industry of the world that can promote harmony between the citizens of different countries of the world? And what is that one industry which can support the economic development of nations? And the one and only answer is tourism. And I believe that we are at times where tourism must be an ambassador of peace for this world, because that is the only way that this world can progress to levels beyond what it has previously experienced. UFTA is an organization which is primarily a federation. We have over 75 associations of the world as members of UFTA. And for a long time, we had only focused on travel or aviation as a major focus. But came the Golden Jubilee, UFTA decided to work in 4 different verticals. Vertical number 1, travel. Vertical number 2, tourism, an important connect opportunity for the world. Vertical number 3, networking, business development between countries. Nepal has a great product. Maybe Malaysia would like to buy a lot of products from Nepal on tourism. There has to be some body that must facilitate networking, and UFTA shall be that body. And of course, realizing the growing need for MICE as a growing industry, the 4th vertical of UFTA will be MICE. And in these areas, I am so thrilled today that one of our most pioneer members, Natta, is celebrating its Golden Jubilee. And when members of different countries of the world start connecting with each other. It is learning and it is fun. My colleague, Mr. Yossi Patel, Vice President of UFTA, is here. He would be there to talk to the travel agents tomorrow about the changing scenario. And it is something that drives the future of all of us. But I must mention one significant aspect of tomorrow. That this tomorrow that all of us keep talking about, time and again, every speaker comes and talks about future. And this future that we talk about is not a small future. IATA has published its reports of 2032. I repeat, IATA has published its reports of 2032. And they have confirmed, according to their own study, that the number of aircrafts in the skies will be double what they are today. The number of passengers traveling by airlines will be double what it is today. Congratulations, Natta. It's such a pleasure being here.
Successful failure all the while. Thank you.
र नेपालको समस्या अहिले हलो नपढेकाले हलो छोडे, पढेकाले थलो छोडे, हलो पनि छोड्ने, थलो पनि छोड्यो भने देशको टुरिज्म विकास हुन सक्दैन। त्यो कुरालाई आत्मसात गर्दै तपाईहरुको कार्यक्रम सफल होस् भन्ने चाहिँ शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दै बिदा हुन्छु। धन्यवाद। जय नेपाल। I as the first Vice President of Natta and the convener of today's program and the program that follow even tomorrow and day after tomorrow would first of all like to extend our sincere thanks to Chief Guest Minister Jivan Sai, agreed to grace and this historical occasion of Natta Golden Jubilee by being with us this evening. The tourism fraternity of Nepal is very mix of seeing positive change in the industry under your visionary leadership. Natta is also grateful to honor to State Ministry as well. We believe UFTA and Natta are brother twin. Thank you, President UFTA and TAI, Mr. Sunil Kumar R, for being with us the whole day. Your very scholar keynote address has emboldened us a lot to go ahead for the greater economic benefits to the national through tourism. On behalf of Natta, I would also like to extend our great appreciation to Vice President of UFTA, delegates from various international and national fellow associations, Nepal Tourism Board, NTV, Nepal Airlines Corporation, NSE, FNCCI, CEO from various banks, chairman, representative from NATHAM and other tourism college, GDS, for your meaningful and thoughtful participation. Our thanks are also due to high-level officials from Government of Nepal and media representative. It will be on my part if I go without the winner of Natta Best Prestigious Sagramata Bhaskar Tourism Service Award 2016, as well as those include Thai International Airways and Air India who have been service over time. This program of Natta has been made possible by our sponsor, supporter, well-wisher, Hotel Yakaneti, Hotel Annapurna, Hotel Radisson, Hotel Manasulu, Hotel Yatri, Hotel Holy Himalaya, Utsav Restaurants, Horti Crown Plaza, Dwarikas, Landmark Groups, and also to our partner airlines including Qatar Air, Jet Airways, Biman Bangladesh, US Bangala, Dragon Air, Droox Air, Slick Air, Malaysian Air, Etihad, Fly Dubai, Turkey Airlines, Oman Air, Malindo Air, Himalaya Airlines. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you have been quite in dealing this program a very colorful thing and have made it a
resounding success. We thank you all from the core of our heart. Natta past president, member, executive committee, all the staff member of Natta, secretariat, volunteer, staff and management of Hotel YETI, all service provider, and all well-wisher also. Our thanks on the occasion. Thank you all.